used to catch my mama writing poems on envelopes all the time, on junk mail. And then she would throw them away. And it was like her way of, I don't know, just dealing with life. She had a very, very hard life. And I didn't know why she did it, so I just started doing it, just writing poems and throwing them away. And then one day I stopped throwing them away. I used to ride the school bus for about 90 minutes to school and then 90 minutes home. So I spent about 3 hours a day on the school bus. And this Tim McGraw song came on called Don't Take the Girl. And somehow this 3-minute song took me somewhere I'd never been. Made me feel things that, I probably had never even felt or was too afraid to feel. And I was like, okay, what just happened to me? What kind of wizardry was that? Because that seems like magic. And then that's really, at least what drew me to Nashville. But I was a scientist for the beginning of, or at least half of my time in Nashville. That's all I was. I just wanted to be close to it. I thought maybe if I just lived proximal to it, it would somehow, I would find it. And it actually, oddly, worked. Well, I bought this guitar off Craigslist in the middle of a parking lot in Nashville. This dude sold it to me for $400. I saw the picture of it and it was like, I don't know what it was just like, "Whoa." Something just told me, you have to buy this guitar. And he wanted $500 for it. I would have given him $800 for it, but I just, on a whim, said, would you take $400 for it? And he was like, yeah, sure, I gotta get rid of it. And I couldn't believe it, because really $500 was all I had, to my name at that time. And so he would have taken my last $500, so he spared me an extra $100 so I could, so I could get it set up. So it's a 1978, so it's an older guitar. I've always loved classical guitars too. They kind of speak to me better. The wider necks, they have a really responsive vibrato that you can really get out of them like a cello. It's also incredibly dark in its tone. It was pristine when I bought it. It had hardly any scratches at all whatsoever. Maybe it had one of these little nicks. If the guy saw it now, he would probably pass out.
I gave up after E minor. That's what
Oh,
I
yeah?
learned, and that's it. That F chord was just too hard. It's a
You're
big
playing
one.
better with one finger than I would with all my fingers.
Oh, whatever, you're sweet. I became very technically proficient at the guitar very young. I started off in rock, and then I went into jazz. And playing in those ensembles, learning, just how to move with dynamics was a big part of me developing my style, because when I play guitar, I tend to try to think of it as an orchestra. I remember how great our conductor was at, wrangling this orchestra of 35 people and taking them up and taking them down. So dynamics are really key with everything I do. You'll hear me playing really soft, and then I get really loud, and none of it's happening with electronics or anything like that. It's all happening with just my hands, and it's all happening very naturally. I never dreamed I would be a singer. I just thought I would only play guitar. But the guitar ended up creating my voice. So the way I play guitar is the way I sing, and the way I sing is the way I play guitar. So the guitar is really kind of everything. It's not like a background, wallpaper situation. It's the star. It's the couch. My wife calls me Toonie Soprano, because I tune all the time. I prefer Antonio Banderas.
Oh, stop.
All right. Now you're getting funny. All right. I kept my songs as secrets for years. I didn't start playing my songs for people till 10 years ago. And I finally just got brave enough. My dad died and I started putting out a record, and I quit my job as a scientist. My dad was like my only real champion in that. He was like my corner man with that in life. So my dad raised me and my brother and sister, and I have his name. I'm his firstborn son. He was very much a big character, a big personality, and I am not. I'm historically shy, quiet, and not a big personality. And so most of my childhood lived in his shadow comfortably because I didn't need to step outside of it. He did a lot of the work for me. And then 5 years ago, he died, and the shadow was gone, and everything was on me. And it was more of like who are you now without him? Because who he was who I was. You know, that epiphany was a big part of it. But I started keeping record of what I was going through in that moment, literally right then. It's all I knew to do. I just fell back on my science because I could kind of turn my emotions off, kind of put a lab coat on and just kind of look at this from the outside, even though I'm the one that's on the inside of it. I said goodbye to him, and then the songs just started showing up. Well, science is very much a part of my songwriting and my personality. It's very much had a foundational, I guess, effect on my creative process. When I write songs, I tend to approach it like a researcher. The first thing you got to go through is a heavy level of scrutiny. So when you actually survive that gauntlet, you probably have like a truth, because you had to go through so much to find it. Then there's the lack of science. When you start writing the song, for me, it's very much like capturing lightning in a jar. Songwriting is very staying in the moment, and I grew up very like Pentecostal, very spiritual, like a lot of spiritualism around me. So it honestly becomes closer to that than it comes closer to the lab. Really, it's a letting go process at that point. I feel like science is holding on and songwriting is letting go. I got a science degree because I wanted to understand everything, and there's some things that just have no explanation. Music is truly unexplainable, and it's probably the closest thing to magic that we actually really have, because magic is just illusion. But music is actually doing something that we can't see and we can't explain. So that's magic, I think. I used to play my dad all my work tapes and demos, and you know, he would occasionally ask me, like, why don't you just sing them? Why are you waiting for somebody else to sing them? You sound fine singing. And I was like, no, I don't do that, Dad. Someone else sings them. And when he died, that guy died with him. That guy that would have said, no, Dad, someone else sings the songs. I don't. He's dead now. And now, this guy. Like, what's this guy do? And I was like, maybe this guy sings songs. And maybe this guy plays shows. Maybe this guy makes records. And maybe Dad was right. Maybe you should sing these songs. People come up to me and have these incredibly emotional experiences with these songs, like I did with Don't Take the Girl. And yeah, I mean, it feels right, because that's really all I wanted to do. I wanted to create something that made me feel that way. You know, I think they showed up to help me, and we all live these kind of parallel lives, I find. So it's actually, I found out it's very much helping other people too. And that's, you know, that's really what my dad would want in the end of it all. I feel like he's more alive now than he's been ever. And like a lot of people know about him now. Like, he's everywhere. Like, I go around the world and talk about him. His name's on marquees, his name's on tickets and everything. It has Junior behind it, but that's his name, and that's how I look at it.